Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be discussing how to build a simple breadboard circuit. So let's get right into it. Alright, so as you can see here, this is our circuit that we are going to create on a piece of paper. So we're going to start at this place right here. This symbol, which has a longer line and a shorter line, this represents a battery. And the longer line represents the positive side of the battery, and the shorter line represents the negative side of the battery. And we aren't actually going to be using a battery in our circuit. Instead, we have our Raspberry Pi. Since the Raspberry Pi is going to be what is supplying our power, we're still going to label it as a battery would be labeled. All right, so our circuit starts at this point, the battery, and it continues along these lines all the way until we reach this symbol, which looks kind of like a triangle. And these triangles actually represent a resistor. And if you remember from the last video, we need a resistor to reduce the amount of current that is going to be going to our LED. We need to do that so that the LED does not blow up when it receives power. So we reach the resistor, and then we continue down all the way here until we reach this. And this symbol is known as a LED, a light emitting diode. And these lines here denote that it is emitting light. And after the current finds its way to the diode, the current will then continue along this path all the way until it reaches the ground of the Raspberry Pi. Alright, now we're actually going to be building this circuit right here. So here I have my Raspberry Pi, and I have power coming from my Raspberry Pi traveling through this jumper wire, and it's going to come to this metal part over here, which I'm then going to plug into my Raspberry Pi on a power strip. And by the way, to plug a component into your breadboard, all you have to do is take the metal bit, line it up with one of the holes, and simply push it in. Alright, now that I have power for my Raspberry Pi, I'm just going to grab a resistor, and I'm not going to place this anywhere along my power rail. And I can do this because all the power rails are shorted together, of course. So I'm just going to take my resistor, and I'm going to push it in over here. And once I do this, I will place it over here. And you can see that I have made a simple connection where one end of the resistor is to the power over here, and one end is onto one of the vertical strips on one of the terminals. Alright, so the connection we just made represents the battery right here and point A connected to point B. So that means the battery is going to the resistor, point A, and the resistor is now ending at point B on one of the vertical strips. Alright, now I'm going to grab my LED. An LED looks like this. You can see that there are two legs, and one of them is actually longer than the other. The longer one is called the anode, and the shorter one is called the cathode. The anode is where the current is going into the LED, and the anode is where the current is leaving the LED. So this is very important because if you connect it the wrong way, then the LED will not light up. So I'm going to take the longer leg, the anode, and I'm going to line it up on the same terminal that my resistor is in. And I'm just going to push that in. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to take my cathode and put it on a different vertical strip. And once I do this, I'm just going to push it in. And you can see that all I have done is connect my anode on the same vertical strip that my resistor is on, and my cathode is on a different vertical strip. This connection we just made represents from point B to point C. So you can see that the resistor goes to point B, and here we get our LED. And the LED now brings us from point B to point C. And make sure to connect the LED on two different vertical strips. Alright, the final thing I'm going to do is take my ground cable, a jumper wire, and plug this into the vertical strip that the cathode of my LED is on. And once I power up my Raspberry Pi, you'll see that the LED will begin to glow. Alright, so this final connection that we have made represents the connection from the end of our LED, the cathode, point C, all the way to point D, which is where our ground of the battery is located. Alright, so this is pretty much what our LED looks like when we have completely powered up our circuit. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one where I'll be discussing how to integrate coding into our breadboard circuits. See you then.